welcome in. Hanna Time, Global Sports Broadcasting Network. Cornelius, Brad, Hanna. We've got so much to talk about. Playoff hockey, playoff basketball, baseball, football, crazy videos. I'm going to give it about 30 seconds to warm up. I got Mark Mancini coming in, the madman, at the top of the show also. I know you're probably watching basketball, but I want your comments as you're dropping in and off the show a lot, okay? It's a big night in sports, a big Thursday night. We've got so much to talk about. I got 30 seconds coming up for you. Can you count to 30? I think you can. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, welcome in. Hanna Time, Global Sports Broadcasting Network. Cornelius, Brad, Hanna, Mark Mancini, the madman, coming in real shortly here. Let's break down what we're going to talk about today. There's so much other than NBA and NHL playoffs, and it's just a lot. It's a jam in time, right, for sports. Suns-Clippers game about to start or starting right now. No Kawhi. We're going to talk about that at the top. Also, Las Vegas A's, not the Oakland A's, Las Vegas A's baseball. It's a big top story for today. It was expected over the last few years, but it's finally going to happen. And we're going to talk about where it's located. It's going to be really cool for the Las Vegas people and a lot of people in the Southwest to get in and out of Vegas and watch some games and stuff. Stanley Cup playoffs underway all week. It's been jamming. Great games as always. Ohtani and Aaron Judge. Ohtani versus Judge. Great highlights the last few days, and these guys going at it. But Ohtani, did he give us a hint where he would like to play other than in Angels uniform? We're going to kind of show you something, a quote of Ohtani. Interesting. Max Scherzer gets suspended for 10 games for something that I believe that it was just some sweaty hands in the rosin bag, but they gave him a 10-game suspension. I think Major League Baseball has to look into this a little further. I'm not quite sure why this got to be 10 games. But Max is going to talk about it. We're going to show it, but we're also going to get more into about the rule on this stuff. You know, sometimes baseball is a little too sticky with some of their rules. Padres, San Diego Padres, everybody had them going to the World Series. I say check yourself because they need pitching, and they better do something at the trade deadline or it's going to be a tough battle. But Machado talks a lot. Manny Machado, I think he needs to keep quiet because that team is not ready yet. They need a lot more pitching for this team to go a lot further. Also, Dodgers pitching history. Kershaw, to me, the best Dodger pitcher of all time. But ironically, did you know that Dodgers all-time wins leader is not a 300-game winner? And all those great Dodger pitchers over the years, over the decades, really not even a 300-game winner. Really interesting. But Kershaw not even going to come close to it. He got number 200 this week. So, but he is a historic pitcher, and he's a great one, and forever a Dodger Blue. Lamar Jackson's contract, we're going to dig into that a little bit and how he was offered more money than Jalen Hurts. But what's going on with Lamar? What does he really want? What's going down here? And how about another sucker punch, cheap shot athlete after he loses or they lose? We saw a NCAA or NIT women's basketball game sucker punch somebody. It happened again. It happens a lot. I'm not quite sure why these boundaries, these sideline boundaries of sportsmanship have just dissolved. It's just it's bad. It's bad for sports, unsportsmanlike stuff too. But a sucker punch, plus those wild and wacky, crazy videos will pop you in here. And as we wait for Mancini to get in here, let's talk about the Phoenix Suns. Let's talk about what's going on tonight. First thing, the big story itself is this right here. Kawhi Leonard reported that he's got a sprained knee. I was like, he's going to show up tonight's game. He's going to have a brace on, and he's going to come off the bench or something. But all rulings had him out, and that's the case. The Suns are in a great opportunity for the Phoenix Suns. I had this 6 or 7 games, but now with Kawhi, it changes everybody's prediction, everything. And the ones who thought the Suns in 4 and 5, guess what? You're going to get your wish probably. This big injury. This is huge. It changes everything. So I wouldn't put your hat on that one, okay? You got lucky in that one if that's the case. But the Suns got to complete this and finish this and get those 3 more wins and put this away, so they don't have to worry about it, and get some rest too. Get guys like KD some rest and Booker, because they're going to have a lot of minutes in the playoffs. So the Suns got to take care of business tonight, win that game. A couple of the things about what I was talking about with Kawhi Leonard and how great he is, and how the Suns really had to work extra hard, and now he's going to have little to say the next game or two if things play out the way they said it was going to play out with Kawhi's injury to a sprained right knee, I believe it is. But big break, fortunate break for the Suns, unfortunate for the LA Clippers as things play out tonight, and we'll see what happens. But I'm not quite sure where the Clippers are going to get their points. And I talked about this previewing the NBA playoffs. I said the Suns need about 120 points a game to win, where the Clippers need about their average 115. Like, I don't see the Clippers getting more than 115. Now with Kawhi not playing, I don't even know how they're going to get to 105. And the Suns just got to just play ball, put the ball in the basket, and put this game out of reach pretty quick so you can rotate better and take care of some legs, because this is going to be a long NBA playoff run if the Suns want to go far. It sounds like I'm rooting for the Suns. I am. I want the Suns to break and get their championship ring. I don't know if it's going to be this year or not, but they're also going to get a good chance at it and a good shot at it. But they're going to have to score 120. Okay. But now with Kawhi out, I think I can drop that down. I can go down to 110, 115 in that range, because I don't know where the Clippers are going to find offense. Okay. Until Leonard comes back. If Kawhi comes back, right? Full strength and everything else. And so where does this all lay out for the Clippers? It's going to be a really hard one to find more points other than Kawhi down the stretch, things like that. So they're going to have to play some serious defense, and even that is going to be difficult. So it's the obvious, right? It's the obvious what I'm saying right now, if you can't figure that one out. But so the Suns offensively, I was concerned with Kawhi out there and what they were showing the Clippers, that it was going to be a dogfight through 6 or 7 games, right? Is that, the Suns, I was saying Suns got to score 30 points at least from Durant and 30 from Booker. Ayton's got to get his 15 or so or more. And, Craig had to pop in his 10 or so, get something in there. And Chris Paul has got to play better. He's got to put some basket. And then you put that all together, the Suns are still, they're barely touching 100, or they're in the 90s. So where is that other 120 that I was looking for? It had to come from the bench, right? And 115. Well, that kind of softens up a little bit, because I don't think the Clippers are going to get that 115 quota mark. So it really benefits when you think about numbers and how the season has played out with these teams, and how the series has looked so far, the Suns offense. But this is still going to be a problem for the Suns and they should get past the Clippers if this thing plays out correctly, is that they're still going to have to face trying to find more points. And it's got to have to come somewhere else, because you just is 38 coming from Booker every night. Fantastic if it does. Can Durant pop a couple of those nights in? Sure. But, we're only talking about another 8 or 10 points above the 30 quota mark. The Suns need to get their stars to play above and beyond 30 points, 30 or more. Has to happen, besides some defense, because that bench obviously is lame. It's horrible. And if somebody can pop off that bench and give them some more help, fantastic. It really gives them a better chance to win against better teams as if they move on. And if they lose one of these 2 games or so in LA and Kawhi comes back, the Suns missed it. They missed their opportunity to kind of take control of this series. So the Suns got a shot, take complete control of the series in game 2 and game 3 and game 4. Because Leonard, they say, maybe comes back day-to-day kind of thing with game 4. We'll have to see. But the Suns got their shot. They got their chance. They got a big opportunity. And let's see how it plays out. If they don't, it's a big choke in my eyes. If they can somehow take control of this series and find a way to close it somewhere in Phoenix sometime next week itself. And if it makes sense to you, great. If it doesn't, tell me why. I want to know why. Suns, Clippers, it's been a fun series to watch. I got you, Jessica Staples, Ishmael in the house. Hey, let's go Suns. Absolutely. Angel in the house. I've been watching hockey playoffs every night. I got TV monitors. I got NBA here. I got NHL here. I got Major League Baseball here. Right. I'm just watching everything. The Hanna household is just going off the charts. It's a lot of fun watching all these games. Going to sports bars is good, but when you go watch, if you're going to go watch the Suns, you can't watch anything else. Every TV monitor is a Suns game. I need to see everything. So it's nice to sit home and get everything in front of me that I want, right? So as watching more games, my monitor's over there, keeping my eye on it too. But hey, I'm waiting for Mancini to pop in. I don't know what's taking him, man. He owes me a couple of shows, right? But that's okay. We're gonna move on as we're talking more NBA. How about the Draymond Green situation? This is him. He gets suspended, ejected from the game, is suspended for a game, and basically because of past history, the NBA puts the big clamps on him, and this definitely affects Golden State, but it doesn't mean Golden State can't win a game without him. They still got the firepower, but we'll have to see. Sacktown is pretty good, Sacramento Kings itself, but what a great rival this is, turned into a little bit. Both these cities, both these teams closely, miles apart from San Fran and Sacramento. It's just really awesome to see. There's a lot of good rivals going around, the playoffs. And we need that. We need to see that in sports because it's the only thing that keeps you interested. Other than that, we're just kind of keeping one eye on it and the other eye on something else. So we need rivals. We need something like this, some villain stuff going on in sports because it draws us. We always, if it's a bad guy or good guy, whatever you take, right? But I love it. All right. So Draymond Green, goes into the crowd itself, and it really went overboard. He kind of has that loose cannon, but he never gets too far. I know a lot of fans don't like it, but it doesn't get too far. He says a lot, but he's not like he's not going to go off the deep end. He just gets to that edge, and he just knows he can pull it back and gets on the court and plays ball. But you think he's one of those mental cases, he's like, you think about the Terrell Owens, great talent, and then off the field, it's like, oh, this is not going well. I don't think Draymond Green's like that. I think he's just a highly intelligent guy, a very passionate guy. And yes, he does cross the line a little bit too. But I would believe if you had him on your team, you'd be so amped up because of what he brings to the game. And you need leaders like that. You do. And but he went across the line way too much the other night, and they gave him the suspension. Now Golden State needs to figure that out. Suns, a lot of games right now we're going to watch. I'm keeping my eye on the Golden State game too. That's something I want to see to the end. But I'm going to go NFL draft right now. The NFL draft next week, Kansas City. They're all amped up in Kansas City itself. This is a big story coming out of Baltimore. Is the Ravens offered Lamar Jackson more guaranteed money than Jalen Hurts got, and Jalen Hurts just signed the big contract. So big, the biggest, right? And Lamar got offered more and more incentives. Like there's like a $200 million difference, with guaranteed money and stuff. And so you're wondering what is going on with Lamar Jackson, right? If Jalen took that and became this highest paid quarterback and player, Lamar, what do you need? What do you want? Now, I think this story itself kind of puts more of the spotlight on Lamar's, where are you? Do you really want to be in Baltimore? Is Baltimore, are you trying to force their hand to get rid of you, trade you? They got the tag on you. The tag itself is what it is, unless you're going to sit out. So this is now starting to look more like Lamar has an issue with something else. And when you don't have an agent to work and help you, and you're on your own like this, maybe this is what happens. So Baltimore now to me looks a little bit better. The story about Lamar getting a bigger, reportedly offered Lamar Jackson more guaranteed money than Jalen Hurts. Okay, so again, guaranteed money, guys. Doesn't matter. You get hurt, you still guarantee that money. Big time. It's like something like $200 million, like crazy stuff, right? In incentives and things like that. So where are you going? Where does Lamar really want to go? Does he really want to be in Baltimore? I'm questioning that he wants to be there more than ever back in Baltimore. So we'll see. All right, let's keep it going here. This is a doozy. Cardinal fans, honestly, Arizona Cardinal fans, NFL fans who just have been laughing at the Cardinals, who have been just it's been a joke, right? And one of the most unpopular guys that I had just talked about for the last 5 or 6 years has been Steve Keim, right? and his brilliance of drafting people and how he builds a roster that just dismantled this team and everything else that goes behind the scenes itself, right? He's got a job. Steve Keim has got a job. And guess what it is? I laugh so flipping hard because I believe this guy is the worst draft analyst to worst draft general manager ever that the Cardinals ever had, right? I really do. He destroyed this organization. Yes, folks, Steve Keim is part of Fox Sports iHeartRadio Thursday night on the draft night with LeVar Arrington, Jay Glazer, and Rob Stone as what? Draft analyst. Steve Keim gets the draft analyst board on the round table about the NFL draft on radio, iHeartRadio itself, Fox. You'll be able to listen to it locally, obviously, if you have iHeartRadio and Fox itself, wherever you are. But here in Phoenix, it's 910 AM radio. Got to give him a plug. But Steve Keim, I am listening to what this guy says. I got to tune in. I have to tune in. Steve Keim has a job on draft night of the NFL, folks. Yeah. Yes. The most he gave me so much to talk about, especially on draft day, draft night, post draft, post year after, everything about it, right? What I would love to hear your comments about Steve Keim having a job on draft night, talking about the draft and analyzing over. There it is. One more time, folks. One more time. Itself. All right. I'm going to have to pop this in with Mancini itself when he comes back on. I'm not quite sure what he's doing, man. But look at this. The Kansas City Chiefs, when they beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl, all right, they got and made milk, a milk quart, a quart of milk with the Super Bowl logo on it, with the number itself, Roman number on it. And it says Eagle Tears. Eagle Tears, not Eagles Tears. Got to catch that a little bit. But it's really throwing it back in the face of the Eagle fans and the Philadelphia Eagles and beating them in the Super Bowl. And they were making milk. Milk company. Jarring it up, filling up, selling it. Chiefs fans are having a blast with it. There it is on the screen. That's what it looks like. Want to get one of those? Go for it, man. But I think it's funny. Stanley Cup playoffs going on right now. A lot of battles. The fights are breaking out. It's getting tough. The personalities and the characters, and they're just starting to hate each other. This is where hockey really starts. These long series have to really build up. We got a ways to go throughout the weekend of it, but it's my favorite time of the year when it's NHL hockey playoffs, man. Stanley Cup playoffs itself. But one of the big ones we just finished watching it was the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Tampa Bay Lightning trying to get to their fourth consecutive Stanley Cup, and after winning the other night 7-2 or 3, whatever it was, they lose tonight. Basically the same score. They get whooped by Toronto, so the series is tied. But Toronto benefited from 3 key injuries to the Tampa Bay Lightning's team. They'll be back sometime in the series, but they got a big break. But what I'm seeing in playoffs, even in the NBA, and I've seen a lot in hockey, is highly inconsistent penalties called or not calling penalties. When you're calling it, when you call the penalty, but you don't call it the other way, I don't understand. It's like every sport is having this issue. So it starts to make you feel like everybody is in on it. They're milking it. They're stretching it. They're trying to make sure there's series involved, and people want to think conspiracies. But when referees, literally, folks, I've watched enough games in my lifetime, and you can see when referees are literally watching a play in front of them, and there's a clear penalty, and you don't call it, but you call the same penalty early in the game, there's a problem there. But it's been happening way too much, even in basketball. And I know it's hard. Yeah, you can't see everything and everything else, but can you be consistent, though? Okay. The other night, I'm watching Carolina Hurricanes against the New York Islanders, tied. They're in overtime, 3-3. And one of the Islander players gets a high stick to the face. Anything to the face, like draws blood, becomes a major, and that's huge. And was it overtime? So it would have given the Islanders a bigger benefit. But no call. 10 seconds later, Carolina wins in overtime, and it makes you wonder, like, the referees are not involved or involved. You got to be consistent, because they call that same penalty early in the game that cost the Islanders a goal. So you're seeing a lot of it. All right, I'm watching the Nets just play Philadelphia. I don't understand some of the non-calls in that game, but I don't get let them play. But then you want to call it some other time in the game. Like, again, get it right. Get it right. And I'm tired of it. I'm just tired of these referees and umpires way out of line, way inconsistent. Strike zones itself. I don't know if they're that average of a ref or a judge or whatever it is in a sport, or do they just really want to call it the way they need to call it, not what they see, right? So really down about that. All right, we're going to go into baseball. I'm going to go into baseball. Yes, this is a big story today. Las Vegas Athletics, the A's, once known as the Kansas City A's, moved to Oakland, became the Oakland A's. Now they're going to go to Vegas, and they're going to join their Oakland Coliseum roommate, the Raiders. And they're not going to share the stadium, because the Raiders got their own. But I will show you where it's going to be. Okay, this is where the Raiders stay and play their games. And the A's are going to play literally just north. Like, they're basically going to be sharing their own parking lot, their same vicinity, the same sports complex. Okay. Fantastic area. It's right there off the 15 freeway, right across on the other side where Luxor is in Mandalay Bay, as you know, where Legion Stadium is, where the Raiders play. So right there, just north of it, the A's are going to get their stadium built right there. So that area is all going to get cleared out. You know how they do it. Buy people out, whatever it takes, and just move them and build it. So there's going to be a massive baseball stadium for the A's. They got the Raiders next door, and literally just like a half a mile further down, it was where the Las Vegas Knights play, the hockey team. So in a half a mile radius, you got 3 arenas to watch sports. And if a lot going on, maybe at one time in the year, you can probably watch hockey, football, and baseball, depending if the A's are in the playoffs. Postseason, and sometimes they do get there. But there's the map, the Google map of Vegas itself, and I obviously you see the big circle where the A's will play right there, and just above that where the Raiders were playing in that big Darth Vader looking spaceship, Legion Stadium. And if you're on the strip, you can see all that too. But what a good time for Vegas, folks. They got their teams. They got WNBA. They got the Major League Baseball. They got football. They got college sports. They got the UNLV Rebels itself and NHL. It is probably the best sports town. I mean, I know I've claimed other big cities, New York and LA and Chicago, great towns itself. And you can throw in other cities in there with all the teams they have. But when you come with all the sports gambling and everything else, and Vegas is now risen up to the top. You could probably put Vegas in the top 5 of the greatest sports cities right now in America itself, or maybe all over the world, because go figure, who does this, right? Only in America. I love Arizona. I think Arizona has everything. It gets every sport. Arizona gets every big event, right? The only thing that it has yet to get is the Olympics. Other than that, you can point to everything about sports they got and have, right? And so Arizona is right there too. But Vegas, once upon a time, no professional sports, nothing. You couldn't even gamble locally on a game if you're from UNLV. You had some minor league sports there, right? But with all the gambling going on and the leagues itself protecting themselves from all that stuff, has all gone away because off-track betting, right? All those beautiful places where you can go now and make sports book bets anywhere online has changed the dynamic, and they also see the dollar signs that they can make their own money on it too, these leagues. So it changed everything. And Las Vegas has got a big break, though, because they're competing, and they're also competing with all those gamblers itself. But to go to a game, like Vegas was known as what? The big shows. Now you could go to a hockey game. You can go to a Vegas football game, NFL game. You can go now to a Major League Baseball game. I'm excited. I love my Yankees. Always born and raised. So that's my team, right? I'm not letting go of that. And I can just travel now 5 hours, 1 hour by flight, 5 hours if I want to drive to watch the Yankees a few times a year in Vegas. That's going to be awesome to watch. Probably going to be a lot bigger crowds now in Vegas with the Oakland A's, with all the tourism and the free tickets and, the big whopping gamblers that come into town, tickets, right? So I'm looking forward to that. So as the Southwest is starting to build itself out, there's a lot of good regional sports and, good, easy flights out to get to see some games. Baseball, too. I mean, I love it. I'm happy because Oakland's kind of a little too far away. And, yeah, don't go to Oakland too much, right? Who does? All right, so there it is. Once again, the Raiders and A's are going to be neighbors like they were once roommates in the stadium. So, and this is the official statement from the Oakland A's itself. It says the A's have signed a statement here, a binding agreement with the purchased land for a further ballpark in Las Vegas. We realize this is a difficulty day for our Oakland fans and community itself. For more than 20 years, the A's have focused on securing a new home for the club and have invested in unprecedented time and resources for the past 6 years to build a ballpark in Oakland, even with support from the fans, leaders at the city, county, and state level, and throughout the broader community itself. The process to build a new ballpark in Oakland has made little forward progress for some time now. We have made a strong and sincere effort to stay here, and the A's have decided to buy land right there where the Raiders play, right next door, to play baseball and give it a couple of more years to build that arena or that stadium itself. And it's going to have to be a dome because it gets really hot in Vegas during the summer months where baseball, the boys of summer. So it's going to have to be a retractable dome, most likely. And let's see what it looks like. I'll be interested to see how it plays out, but looking forward to it. But they did try. They did try to stay in Oakland. But there's a new home coming for the A's in Las Vegas itself. And, they'll be supported very well. Vegas fans are ready. They have a good fan base, sports town. It is very diverse. A lot of people, not all from Vegas, but baseball is baseball. And, it'll go very well, of course. All right, let's talk Dodger baseball. Clayton Kershaw, been fortunate to be around this guy for about 8 years when I was working with the Dodgers in the, about 08, started around 08, 07 with the Dodgers and went for about 8 years with them and got up and close, hung out with Clayton before games and interviews with the program that I was running, also with the Dodgers itself. And it was a treat to watch this guy for those prime years, Cy Young years, and he's still doing his stuff. And he's got to 200 wins, Clayton Kershaw. But if you look at top of it, Don Drysdale had 209 wins. And Don Sutton had 233 victories as a Dodger pitcher. If he stayed a Dodger, Don Sutton, he probably would have gotten to 300. But again, he ended up on many different teams other than the Dodgers. And that was a big, if you know the Dodgers storyline, a lot of turmoil in the locker room in the 70s when Don Sutton was one of their ace pitchers or the pitcher itself. Didn't get along and it just wanted out. Well, they got him out. But he would have been probably a 300-game winner if he stayed in Dodger uniform. But that didn't happen. And you look back on the Dodger history, of all their history, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the Brooklyn Dodgers itself, nobody has come close to 300 wins. And if you think Clayton Kershaw will get there, it's not happening. I don't think he has five. He's got to have 5 20-win seasons in a row. And he's hanging on for another couple of years, maybe at best. So I think Clayton may get to 220. Maybe he's got a shot at 233 if he sticks around long enough and finds a way to pop a few more wins at the end of his career to be the all-time winningest pitcher in Dodger history. But when you think of the Dodgers, all the great pitchers historically known, not one 300-game winner. Interesting. You would think there would at least been one. Not happening. So here's a story coming out this week. Aaron Judge and Ohtani going at it. They just wrapping up their series in New York with the Angels and Yankees, and a lot of attention. These are two big mega stars going at it, and when these two stars go at it, they really have showed up. I mean, Ohtani had big moments so far in the series, and Judge had amazing moments too. And they even went at it one-on-one at one point. How is that possible? Well, I'll show you in a second what happened if you haven't seen it yet. But here's a quote. Ohtani's going to be a free agent. The Angels are a below 500 team, and they struggle with pitching, and they don't really smack the ball around as much, right? They can't out-hit you that much. And Ohtani is looking at a big contract, and does he really want to stick around? Looking at Mike Trout, who's just been drowning there, great talent, but but Ohtani comes out and says something. And a lot of people say this, but think about this. Here's Ohtani. It's a beautiful field, passionate fans. I always look forward to playing here. It's really fun playing here. Ohtani talking about playing in Yankee Stadium. That's a hint of where he would like to play. I'm sure he could play somewhere else. But if he had the opportunity, he would jump on it. Hideki Matsui was a legend in Japan, just like Ohtani is right now. And I'm sure that the influence of Ichiro, who ended up playing with the Yankees also, was an influence to watch it on TV, these guys playing in Yankee Stadium in big games, big moments. And now he gets the taste of it as an Angel. Ohtani throwing it out there. I'm sure the media is going to jump all over it like I have. But what do you do? How is this possible? The Yankees could afford it if they're willing to take a big tax hit, with the payroll stuff. But I have a solution. If Ohtani said, I want to go to New York and play with the Yankees, then the Yankees are going to have to dish out some stuff, right? So the Yankees are going to try to dump a contract and a good name, a Southern Cal guy, in Stanton. Stanton's contract got a few more years on it. He's very entertaining. It'll fit right in there, but then you got to throw in more. You just can't do straight up like that, right? Because Ohtani is a very, he pitches. He's a really good pitcher, right? Throw in a pitcher or two. You got a lot of young talent in the Yankee organization. This could be one of those 4 to 5 player deals and throwing in Stanton in there. So the Angels will have some youth, some star power still there, and potentially maybe can grow from there and getting a lot out of it, right? Okay, that's one. The other side of it, why does it benefit the Yankees? Obviously, you get Ohtani, but you think of how the Yankees are going to handle a big contract like that when you just sign Aaron Judge and you got a few things out there, a couple of pitchers, a loaded up contract itself. It's this. When you release and dump one contract in Stanton, that money, half that money, whatever it is, goes towards the Ohtani contract. And then it's like signing a free agent in the offseason for half the price because you're already going to be paying Stanton a bunch of money, a lot of money. Okay. So you can take that towards the Ohtani contract and then like going out and finding another free agent, big name, you're only going to pay half of what Ohtani would be asking for a team to go to. Like who's going to come up with $5 million, $500 million, right? So it makes sense. I think it may work. All right. Stanton, I know, injured guy, but he's star power and it's a win-win at that point. But we'll see. That's my take on it. But Ohtani speaks out loud. There it is again. We'll see how it plays out. But when Aaron Judge and Ohtani went at it this week, the last episode was today, but this was last night where Judge robs Ohtani of his second home run of the series. There's Judge leaping over the wall in center field itself. And I have video of this too. I should actually show you the video of, let's see here. Let's see. Here it is. There's Aaron Judge. Ohtani drives it and take a look at it. All right, there's Ohtani's big hit, Judge grabbing it, then bobbled it and still finds it. Star players going at it one-on-one. How often do you see that happen in baseball? Because it's such an individual sport at the time, most of the time. But that was fun to watch, and with all the hype around who's better and all that stuff, MVP last year, that gave a lot of baseball fans fun, a lot of talk, a lot of talk about these two, and be pretty wild if both of them played on the same team. Let's see what happens itself. More baseball stories coming out too, and I got Mancini coming in. He just popped in on the screen here, but I'll give him a second. But is it the Padres I want to talk about? Yeah, I think it's the Padres. This is kind of weird, man. Manny Machado. I'm going to pop it on the screen here. Look at this quote from Manny Machado itself, right? Do I got the Machado one? No, I don't have the Machado one, but I'll talk about it. Manny Machado, Padres, talking about, we're just getting started. Just wait. Just wait until we get everything going. We're just going to crush it, kind of thing. But the problem with the Padres is their pitching. It's not strong. They got some big name pitchers that played and performed well in past years, but they're not the same pitchers. San Diego, you're going to be chasing the Diamondbacks. Yeah, it's for real, folks. Right? The Diamondbacks have an ace. You don't have an ace like that, too. And the Dodgers itself, this is going to be fun division, the NL West. But from Machado to act like just wait and see kind of mentality, you better get some pitching. You better go and trade at the deadline, because it's going to happen. And what are you going to give up to get a big name pitcher? This is going to be really interesting to see, because I don't know if they want to break up that lineup that they built and wanted to have, and just hope that their pitching staff can hang on. But the Padres itself, and speaking of pitching, Max Scherzer, where's Max Scherzer at? This is a story that really, Scherzer itself gets ejected for a rosin used with his sweaty hands for 10 games, right? I'm not quite sure why this happened. Okay, here's the video right now as Mancini is about to pop in. Mark, you can watch this video. This is Max Scherzer talking about come on, Max. I had Max in here somewhere. I'm so bummed out. Max Scherzer, about him getting suspended, Mark, for the
10 games.
10 games for something that most pitchers do anyway, with rosin bag. He cleaned it with alcohol. He went back and changed gloves. He did everything possible. And the one thing that Max Scherzer said was, I'm quoting him pretty much, is that, all right, how stupid would I be to go back out there for a third time and still try to get away with it? It just didn't make sense. And then he gets 10 games. And they, I think the umpires, I don't know what they're trying to do, if they have a beef with him or something like that. But that's a lot for something that all pitchers use, is a rosin bag and sweaty hands in the middle of summer. And they, so it's stupid. I just don't.
Well, they're paying back a team that, has an owner that's got some deep pockets.
Who's that?
Steve Cohen.
I agree, Mark.
You think I care about the Mets, man? It's good times in Pittsburgh. The Pirates won again. They're 13-7.
Yeah.
Dude, I do you think, I'm a Dodger fan this weekend, believe it or not, but I love Bellinger. He was my MVP. Bellinger's my MVP of the league. I said that in the beginning of the year. O'Neal Cruz was second. Corbin Burns, my Cy Young. But, boy, can't you see Bellinger playing against the Dodgers every night, man? He's just tearing them up, either throwing them out or hitting home runs.
Hey, Mark, staying with the Dodgers real quick. I threw it out there before you popped on. And, Kershaw gets 200 wins, but ironically and oddly, no Dodger pitcher has been over no 300-game winner with all that supposedly great history of pitching in Dodgerland itself. I think Kershaw, I should say, may have a shot at Don Sutton's all-time record of wins at 233 if he can hang on with his, 33 wins in the next 3 years, say, if he can hang on that long to become the all-time. He's the greatest Dodger pitcher of all time, but if he can get to most wins, I thought Don Sutton would have gotten to 300 if he didn't leave the Dodgers and all that turmoil in the 70s.
Went to Milwaukee, went to the Angels,
went to the Padres. Right? Did he go to the Padres? Or was that Randy?
No, I don't think he went to the Padres. No, I thought it was the Angels and Brewers.
Yeah, it was. But the bottom line is you would have had 300 in a Dodger uniform itself. But I thought that was pretty remarkable. And Kershaw only 200 wins. I'm thinking, it felt like you would be like 280 or something.
Hey, I told you, man, I still got my odds going out of Vegas. I got some big odds that the Dodgers ain't making the playoffs. And I will tell you, I don't care what the prognosticators say. This team is going to be hard pressed to win 75 games.
Their pitching is struggling. They don't have a real top ace in Dodger land itself. Mark, I really want to get on this real quick because the Clippers and the Suns just tipped off. It's early yet, and the Clippers have this small lead. Without did Kawhi show up on the court? I was waiting. I couldn't see.
Well,
but
I think they're holding
he's absent.
him out.
He's out.
They got to get past this series.
He's out. Yeah, he's out officially out.
In order to have George back. But I will tell you this: the Suns are a mess. Now you're down there, you see it, but I have no confidence in the Suns getting past this series. Durant, Booker, trying to play together. This reminds me of the Miami Heat the first year everybody was there.
Right. Well, Kawhi's out. I was just wondering if he just shows up and, does a Willis Reed on us, but maybe game 4. But here's my take on it right now is, I had this 6 or 7 games. I saw the Suns maybe able to pull it off, but I really didn't know who would pull it off, but I gave the edge to the Suns because of home court. That's about it. Right. So I had a 120 to 115 average. Suns had to score 120. The Clippers always score 115. They just magically right there. And, but I had, Durant and Booker having to score at least 30 a game. And it played out perfectly in game 1 and game 2. Those guys, they didn't score 120 in game 1 and they didn't get to 30 points, both those guys, and they lost. Okay. The reverse happened where Durant scores 25, 26 points, but Booker puts in 38. So the average is out. My problem with the Suns is this. That's like 60 to 70 points between them if they're both in the 30s every game. Now, where are the old points coming from? Chris Paul's got to pump in 10 to 15 points. Aiden's got to do 15. He's got to do 15. So there's like 25, 30 points there. Now, all of a sudden, you're around 100 to 95 points, but you're not near my 120 mark, right? This is with Kawhi Leonard in the rotation of the Clippers itself. Then you're looking at a guy like Craig and maybe a 7th guy or 6th guy off the bench popping in 10 more points. Now you're looking at, then maybe you're right around to 120, but I don't trust the Suns bench. And that means you're putting a lot of pressure on Paul, Durant, Booker, right? And Ayton, right? And Craig.
Aiden, let me tell you something. Zubac will lead up Aiden every day. I like Zubac. I
like him too.
And the Lakers made a big mistake letting him go.
We're okay with that.
Yeah. I like Zubac. If you told me, if you put a gun to my head and said, who would I take, Zubac or Aiden? I'm taking Zubac any day of the week. I don't know what you're getting with Aiden. He shows up some games, he doesn't. And, I can go back to when the Suns, you can really count on a center like Alvin Adams.
Well, there is a real value and truth when you have a big guy that has great talent and he's good around the basket. You got to go to him early. You got to establish him early, right? It's like a wide receiver or running back. You got to give him the ball, get him the feel of the game early. If not, he will get lost.
Yeah, but Cornelius, I haven't seen Aiden since the Bucks were down 2-0 to you guys in the series. That's the last time I seen Aiden. Where's he been, man?
No, he had a really good game too because they went to him, they fed him, but the Suns didn't really. They were losing. They were again down by double digits. It was like. And here we are again. I'm going to go back to the scoreboard itself. I'm keeping my eye on it, but the Suns are up by 1.
Westbrook's eating up Paul. There's no question there. Westbrook has found the fountain of youth now with the Clippers.
Well, let's stay on Westbrook right now. Without Kawhi Leonard, this is the guy that can actually throw in 30, 40 points because he's that, and he likes that one-man show because that's his thing. So that's what they got to do in game 3. It's got to be a Westbrook show, a high level, all out Westbrook and everybody else around that Clipper team. And what the Suns just got to do is just stop the guy. Just do not let this guy
let me
have that kind of a game.
So let's hypothetically say you guys get bounced by the Clippers. Let's hypothetically say that. Let's lay that. I know Phoenix is going to come after me in droves, but hypothetically you get aced in this series. You gave up a lot to get Durant. You got Durant still there under contract. What do you do? Do you finally, break ties with Aiden? You got to do something because,
I honestly, I think they need more of a point guard, Mark. Aiden has a role in this team. Chris Paul's age and everything, they got to find somebody else. Like their version of a Jalen Brunson or something like a
Yeah,
Brunson.
you need a Grayson Allen there.
Right. You need somebody in that point position, young enough to run this offense. And as Durant starts to get a little older too, they need some youth. And Chris Paul can still stick around, but he'll be a great like what Doc Rivers was as a six-man off the bench, kind of thing, and help, and doesn't play high minutes, but he quarterbacks you.
Yeah, I will tell you, the three teams I had coming out of the West, I know the Lakers are going to probably take Memphis out of this thing, but the three I had in the West were the Clippers, Sacramento, and Golden State. Two of the three are playing each other.
Right.
And then in the East, I had Philly, Milwaukee, and Cleveland. And we know how this thing might shake out because the NBA likes the Lakers and the Knicks to be relevant.
Well, the Knicks, if that was the case, the Knicks would be in the playoffs every year. But they have a relevant team. They're talented, the Knicks, and they get past Cleveland, which they can because it's a pretty evenly matched team.
Yeah, but then the train stops because
I watched that Philly team. I'm not that impressed. And I'm not that impressed. I thought I was like Brooklyn every game, and they're like limited. Brooklyn's limited, and they battled them, and they battled them, and battled them. And tonight they, it was like Embiid in the end, and it just enough to get past them and really dominate the series. Now.
This was a series you could have watched reruns of Happy Days and stuff like that. There was no way if somebody told me Brooklyn was going to take Philly out in this series.
No, they were not.
No,
but they're showing me.
Yeah, Philly's a dangerous squad. And, Philly's they're a little bit better. They're more of an upstart than Miami is. And this is Milwaukee's problem. When you get Miami and teams like Philly, they tend to really clamp down on the Bucks.
Well,
not so much Boston, but Philly and Miami. And I will tell you, Philly, I look for Philly to take out Boston in the next round.
That's possible because they've seen each other enough and they know how to play each other. I mean, anytime you get those kind of games, a series together, when you see each other enough. But I don't see a major separation. Brooklyn battled again. If Brooklyn has another score on that team, they're a really legitimate team. They're that close, but Jock Vaughn has got that team at a good place, and they're so close for the next couple of years.
Well, that's what you can say about Atlanta too. Atlanta's got 3-4 guys down there, and they can't figure out how to play Boston.
Boston's just been a sound team.
I'll tell you one thing: the dangerous team that got eliminated, and I don't think anybody wanted to see them, was the Bulls.
Yeah. I'm still gonna roll. I'm still excited for the Knicks because I think they have a deeper bench, but they're kind of up and down like the other night.
Yeah, they go as far as Randall and Brunson take you.
Yes, and that happens to a lot of teams, but but they're not Durant and Steph Curry, when they play together. Like
the other snooze series is Denver and Minnesota. Denver will win that, but Denver then will go home. I think I'm not sold on Denver.
Murray is really a good player. That guy is lights out a shooter. And if he continues to stay hot, they're always in a game. That guy can shoot you right into the game really fast. So I'm watching Denver.
Minnesota is they're a three-headed monster. They can't figure it out. You got Edwards, Towns, you got Gobert there. I just can't figure out Minnesota.
We're not used to them, Mark. So we're watching. We know everybody.
Hey, listen, I'm not used to my Penguins sitting home and three of your New York squads are playing in the playoffs.
Hey, New York.
How do you keep Washington and Pittsburgh out of the playoffs and tell me
times are changing, man?
This crap.
We're just getting back to the old days now. No, hey,
the Islanders are going home, man.
Hey, they got ripped off the other night. That overtime goal was they should have had a penalty on them, and they score a goal 10 seconds later. But they'll be back. They'll bounce back. They weren't getting crushed. It was just the Hurricanes are a good team. Let's give it up, But
yeah, I look for the Rangers to rule the Devils. The Devils just don't have the Rangers are too physical down low.
Rangers did what Milwaukee Bucks did. They loaded up, and now they're primed for postseason. And if Giannis can be healthy, we've got to watch him. In Milwaukee, yeah. I mean, that's a serious back injury, and looked okay the other night on the sidelines. But we'll see what happens when he starts playing ball, and if he can be 100% or 80%. I don't know what's going to happen.
Next week when we do the show, it's the draft, baby.
I know. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because I've done draft.
I know. I've been a few
last
of
3
these things,
years.
man. Yeah.
I've done the draft 3 years in a row on the show. So
Let me tell you, I said it on the show. When you look at the NFC North, and if they lose Cousins and Rodgers out of there, and then you look at the NFC West, there's 8 teams. Out of those 8, I think Seattle will be the cream of the crop. I don't know what Detroit's doing. They're letting guys go left and right. San Francisco's trying to get a quarterback now, knowing that Garoppolo's not there and 2 guys are injured. The Rams are having a fire sale. The Cardinals got some problems. The Bears are the Bears. I mean, I don't know what to say when you look at these 2 divisions. Just give me the Seahawks.
I know somebody who has an answer, but I wouldn't listen to him. But check this out. I showed it earlier. This is the truth. Cardinal fans are going to laugh their asses off, or most of them will. Steve Keim is on Fox Sports Radio, iHeartRadio, Thursday night NFL Draft analyst.
Wow.
How the heck does this guy get that job?
Oh my gosh.
There's the, led by Jay Glazer and Rob Stone and LeVar Arrington. Steve Keim is doing an NFL draft.
Wow. These guys, you know what? We might have to break out some shirts.
Wow.
To duel in the desert or something. We're that good, and they got that guy.
I think he's he destroyed the Cardinals because it just disaster every year. You heard me for years.
He's gonna give his input. Yeah.
I have to listen to, but I know we got to do the show. But I'm like dying to hear how this guy, all right, when he says something, like go to the opposite or something. Like I don't even want to listen to this guy.
What's going on in Arizona is about as wild as what's going on in Washington. And with the new ownership there, hopefully they get a quarterback. But Baltimore is even more bizarre. You give a guaranteed contract to Odell Beckham Jr. and you're playing Mickey Mouse with Lamar Jackson.
There's the story right there. But hey, Ravens offered him guaranteed money more than Jalen Hurts, like $200 million more, Mark. And we touched on this at the top of the show.
Yeah, he's shooting for Deshaun Watson money then.
But what does he really want, Mark? Does he really want to be in Baltimore? Because it's really not the money now. Because if that's the truth, and he was guaranteed all this money and more than what Jalen Hurts, I mean, it's a pretty mega deal.
Yeah, and Jalen Hurts, to me right now, is a much better quarterback. Look at Jalen Hurts' management team. Have you seen that? 5 women?
Yeah, he's got his own harem
this guy is really level-headed. I like this kid a lot. I liked him in Alabama. I liked him in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, I like him in Philly.
I agree. And he's a Super Bowl. He made it to the Super Bowl and had this team so close of winning that. They were that close of winning it. But Philly's got a lot of work. But we're not going to do an Eagle thing here. I mean, we know that.
Mike Patricia just came there.
Oh, my gosh. That's over.
Mike Patricia just got named the defensive coordinator in Philly. Can you imagine that?
Oh, yeah. Well, Thursday night, though, join me and the madman himself for the NFL draft. Thursday night. I know you're going to be watching all over the place, but we're going to talk about, the first round of the draft, how exciting it will be and how things, fall apart for teams and how who trades in and out and changes all the dynamics, all of these so-called draft experts. But you can never predict how things are going to play. But Madman and I are going to enjoy.
I should get one of our guests. I know Keith Dorney, man. Let him come on.
I would appreciate that. That's what we usually do is bring in some guests to break down and talk about it itself, some former players or, a good strong out. But, the NFL first round goes for hours, right?
Yeah, so, it's going to be interesting. You want to see those first 20 picks or whatever. Mm-hmm. Going to be interesting who Carolina takes. And the Rams don't have a pick. They lost that to Detroit.
And the Rams, I know you're going to be happy to hear this because you're a main.
Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He passed the physical. So the Steelers they stole him.
Yeah.
They stole him.
He's good. He'll find a system in Pittsburgh. They said, well, he was injured and everything, but I like the pickup. They're doing good in the draft the last couple of years, and now they're bringing veteran leadership in Pittsburgh.
They did. This the most active offseason the Steelers have had I've ever witnessed or watched, or because they've never been like that. They always just been conservative. They knew what they were doing. They always drafted highly well, and
they're bringing guys in now,
and they're loading up big time. And now they have 2 picks in the first 33 of the draft, and who knows, they may even try to move up a little bit. But there's actually rumors coming out of Pittsburgh that they're looking to move up to get one of those mega defensive tackles like Jalen, what's his name from Carter?
God.
Yeah, Carter from Georgia itself. But you got to keep an eye on Pittsburgh itself. But you got to see what the first 16 teams draft. I don't want to draft a quarterback early. I don't believe in them. And if you're a team late in the first round, maybe you pick one out, and because of future considerations.
Keep your eyes on the Colts. The Colts are going to be active. Believe me when I say that. Keep your eyes on Indianapolis. I think Indianapolis is going to kind of shake up the board here.
Yeah, if I was the Cardinals, I would not even think about bouncing out of that first. Go get a great player, and if you're a defensive mind coach like you got from Philly, your head coach, feed him what he needs for his system, and go get a massive defensive tackle or lineman like that who gets to the quarterback, and start building your defense first and your offensive line. Those are the 2 things. I'm looking forward to seeing that with the Cardinals and what they do, but don't trade out. You're okay. You're okay. Just go get the best player.
I'm looking at a defensive end for the Steelers.
There's a lot of talent.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talent out there too.
And
the wide receivers.
They just brought back into Pittsburgh Dupree. Dupree's come back home, so Bud Dupree's there.
Oh, I know. I thought he went to Atlanta. They brought him in, but
I think the Steelers got him, if I'm not mistaken.
They brought him in, but he didn't want. He signed with Atlanta, or at least
is
he
that
agreed
what it
to
was?
Atlanta.
I could have swore he signed with the Steelers.
He came in, they tried him out, blah blah blah, and a few days later, Atlanta scooped in, and Atlanta may be building.
It's been loading up, man. I keep telling people, watch out for Atlanta. They've pulled up quite a few guys, man, and they got Tyler Heineke from Washington.
All right, so let's
Falcons
give a quick
could
update.
Be a dangerous team.
Quick update. Clippers are still beating the Suns 20-16. First quarter action itself, but that's still not a good start. The Suns still struggling in that first quarter against the Clippers itself. And if Kawhi was in there, it'll probably be a double-digit lead like it was in Game 1 and Game 2. So, but this will play out, and the Suns will probably find a way to, break down, substitutions come in.
The show pods are in playing the D-backs, man. They got they got Tatis Jr. back. They brought in Musgrove on Saturday. They're getting reinforcements in San Diego, and boy, it's sad to see Mad Bum out of there.
I get that. But I'm not a believer in the Padres. Machado comes out. I had a Machado thing. I don't know where the heck I put it, man. But Machado comes out like just wait and see mentality. He gets quoted, and we're just getting started. And watch out, we're gonna crush it. He uses the word. I'm like, okay, you can hit the ball, but your pitching is still relatively average. Musgrove has to be above and beyond. He never was a dominant pitcher. You got a bunch of Blake Snells running around there and a bullpen that just is shaky to me also. I think the Padres got a problem like the Dodgers do. I really do. But the only thing about the Padres, they can hit themselves to a victory here and there. But that's why the Diamondbacks are going to have a legitimate shot for that division, because I think it's wide open. I don't believe in the Padres pitching.
First of all, I think San Diego, they got the bats, man. They're loaded from top to bottom there. The only advantage the Dodgers have is they got a better catcher, than the Padres. But the Dodgers are going to be, I'm telling you right now, keep your eyes. The Giants are going to try to get back in this thing.
Mm-hmm. Hey, and Mark, we're getting attacked that we're not GMs. Yeah. I'll go up against Steve Keim any day. Yeah. Steve Keim. Right. Look where your Cardinals are. Right. I've been talking to you guys for a number of years about how this is a disaster, and you're hanging on, and you get a little splash of love and some spirited wins. But where is it? And now it's crash and burn and destroyed, and you're rebuilding.
These are the. I feel for the Cardinal fan, but this is the person that's ripping us. It's probably going to bed with his Cardinal pajamas.
Well, Choo-Choo, his name is Choo-Choo, man.
Toothbrush.
Choo-Choo does that.
You know, everything is Cardinal this, Cardinal that. But Choo-Choo, the train is coming to a complete stop. You'll be hard pressed to win 7 games this year.
Not even.
Not going to
win maybe
Murray there.
They're going to win maybe 3 games to 4 games next year. All because of
the truth always hurts. You know, you want us to tell you to buy season tickets for the Cardinals and get excited. Come on, man.
They raised the prices on them. You may not even have an owner next year.
My buddy was at a Dodgers game the other day. A sweatshirt that you can get for $20 at Walmart with an iron-on Dodgers that looked like a name tag from a hotel in left-handed corner was going for $120. Can you believe that?
Right, I hear you. Choo-Choo says it wasn't Keim who destroyed the Cardinals; it was Bidwell. Well, Bidwell hired him, so yes, I have to give some blame to the ownership there.
Let me tell you that if you want to,
Keim sucked.
You want to do a top 5 show, Choo-Choo, on the worst owners in all of sports over the years. Bill Bidwell would be up there with Charlie Finley, Calvin Griffith. The list goes on and on. You can even throw Hank Steinbrenner in there.
Hey, I guarantee you, if Choo-Choo was on my team as a general manager and he was I think Choo-Choo would be very helpful to me.
Yeah,
because he'll know how to manage these players. He's a players guy, but I'm gonna keep him out of the draft. I'm gonna keep Choo-Choo. He knows what I'm talking about.
Let Choo-Choo sit on the sidelines and wait for the Phoenix Coyotes to come back.
He will. He'll be a front row seat behind the goalie.
Look at the Kings. The Kings are going to take Edmonton out, man.
You know, Kings are a better team than some people have realized. But, you know, Edmonton got a lot of love during the season for hockey because McDavid was just amazing. But this is hockey, man. NHL playoffs are Stanley Cup playoffs are so different.
Yeah, I got the Bruins and going again. I'm keeping an eye on the Stars because the Stars have always been my Western team. Then the Kings. But other than that, maybe keep an eye on Vegas. I can't sit there and watch the New York squads.
Sorry.
I love Toronto to knock. I like Toronto. I like to see a Boston-Toronto final.
Screw Toronto. Toronto can't win a free. They're getting all excited in Toronto tonight when they have 3 players out for the Lightning, and they act like they just that wasn't even the Lightning team out there tonight. But they got a big break. We'll see with the injuries. But the Lightning, that series is going to be fun. But until they start winning a series. You know
what? Keep your eye on, on Seattle might take Colorado out.
Oh, Seattle's a fun team to watch. And Colorado, they're struggling tonight. I don't know what the score is now. I'm trying to keep an eye on it from here. But let's get a quick update again, guys. The Suns got a little hot. You know, they're up by 3 now as we were talking through it. Golden State's up by 10 on Sacramento itself.
No Draymond Green.
Yeah, Mark, at the beginning of the show, when I talked about that suspension, I said Golden State can still win this game without him. I mean, like, they have enough firepower, so it's not like, we'll see what happens, but they're up by 10, Golden State. And
well, there's always an old saying, a series never starts till you win
on
the other team's floor in the first game. So, they've kind of boycotted the Cowbells in Oakland.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Rob Jobles in the house from Brooklyn. Ralph Williams, he says Bud Dupree is with Atlanta. Arizona needs help, and so does Indy with 2 new coaches. We'll see. Anthony Richardson, baby. No, Anthony Richardson is like a 4th round pick for me. I think Anthony even said that he has a lot more development to do. He'll get drafted. But he's a project, guys. He's got great athletic ability, but he's a project.
I thought I could have a fast one with Dupree, man. Darn it.
Yeah. Clippers will eclipse the Suns. Knicks flipping flavors already. Hart is always in New York. Yeah, go New York, go New York, go. Hey, when speaking of New York, first time in like a couple of decades where Islanders, Devils, and Rangers, Knicks, and Nets all in the playoffs at the same time. The metropolitan area is
Yeah,
off
you
the
got the
charts right now.
Yankees and the Mets, and I think the Mets have got the frequent flyers. They go from Oakland to LA and then back up to San Francisco. What's the deal with that, man?
I don't know, but you speaking of the Las Vegas Athletics now, man. This
Oh my God.
Bingo. Matter of fact, the location, Vegas well too, but it's right next door to the Raider Stadium, the north side of it, right across, right there. There's the Luxor, but they bought the land. Somehow they were able to buy the land right there on north side of the Allegiant Stadium where the Raiders play. So one time they were roommates. Now they're going to be neighbors, and they're going to own that area. And just a half mile down the street is where the Las Vegas Knights play. So there's 3 amazing, beautiful arenas. And
so they're going to be there, I believe, in 27, right?
Yeah, a couple of years to build this sucker up, and they're going to probably have to build a dome because it's going to be hot in Vegas in the summer. You know that a retractable something.
Right.
And it's Vegas is it, man. Used to live there for a few years and kind of knew that this was all coming. We all knew this was coming, but it took about 2 decades.
God, I'll tell you, man. And ever since the NBA went down there and that turned into a soap opera for daytime TV, you thought, wow, nothing's going to happen. And they had a AAA team there. And then all of a sudden, here we got the Vegas Golden Knights, the Raiders following.
WNBA got in there too. They just won. The Aces won their title, and the Knights. And so Vegas is a big sports town. It's face it, and they get the Super Bowl next year, so it's going off the charts in Vegas. And I'm excited because it's easy for us to get to see some ball games, and I get to see more baseball now. Besides going to Dodger Stadium, the Angels, or
Phoenix to LA is 5-ish,
a little over 5.5, depending on how fast you drive.
Vegas,
about the same, 4.5 to 5, depending where you are. And then an hour flight. So it's you can fly in, watch a game, and fly home, and act like you never. It's such a great little trip right there. I'd rather fly into Vegas. It's a lot easier to get into an airport in Vegas, jump in a cab, and get to where you are really quick. But in LA, it's a lot different in LA. You get to an airport.
I love that logo, man. You got to send it. Las Vegas Athletics, man. I love that.
There it is again, right there.
Yeah, you got to send that to me, man. That's neat.
And once known as the Kansas City A's, and now become the Las Vegas, or going to becoming the Las Vegas Athletics, or A's itself. Hey, I'm going to stay in football. We're jumping all over the place, folks. So it's just fun at that point. But Kansas City Chiefs took a jab, or a milk company took a jab at the Philadelphia Eagles after the Super Bowl, and they made their own milk quart in a jar and calling it Eagle Tears. Isn't that funny?
Wow.
Eagle Tears. Yeah. All right. I talked about it earlier, but I just needed to show you because
I got to show you. I got a shirt laying around. A buddy was going to get me, and I saw a picture of it. But it said, "Nobody's perfect, but I'm Mancini, so I'm damn close."
That's a good. Wow, Mark, you got some fan clubs there, man. Hey. I'm rehashing a little bit because I know you kind of got in a little bit later than Norm, but Ohtani makes a quote that's a beautiful field, passionate fans. I always look forward to playing here. It's really fun playing here. It's Yankee Stadium, playing in that place, and there's no doubt he would love to be there. But if it can happen, I don't know. But I see a trade if they listen to me. But I see Stanton. With his contract, you can take that money and half of it goes to Ohtani. Then you got to re-up the other half of Ohtani and throw like 4 nice young talents. Give them a pitcher or 2 that they need to replace with him. Young talent.
And Cortez.
I would do it.
Yeah.
Oh, for Ohtani, freak yeah. Give him some talent.
You'd have to give it some talent in that minor league system.
They will. 5 players and yeah. I mean, I would totally do it.
I think he goes to the Yankees, Seattle, and maybe the Dodgers are in the mix. But the
Dodgers are getting desperate.
The Padres are going after him and signing Soto. So I don't know.
Well, think about it.
Money in San Diego.
Think about it, Mark. They need pitching also.
Yeah.
and the star power itself. But anyway, Ohtani, Matsui played there at Yankee Stadium. Ichiro ended up there. Arabu back in the day. These are like
Yeah.
legends in Japanese baseball. And he watched that for many years as a kid. So the influence is there in his soul. So we'll see. We'll see. It doesn't mean he's going to get there. But baseball itself, Mark, are you okay? It's all across the
Oh,
sports.
yeah. I like
These
these.
these connect jerseys. It's not all like nationalities, or the lost doll something, they got the space. What is it for the Astros? With they
Well,
got the
I
A
will
back
tell
on
you,
it. Space City for the Astros.
yeah, the Pirates, the Pirates haven't come up with one yet. They debut on the 27th of June. But the right now my top is going to be the South Side with the White Sox. I like that one. The Angel one is a good one.
I don't like the Boston one. It's kind of weird with
No,
yellow.
that looks like the Bruins of UCLA.
It's just weird. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. It's like ever since they
Miami,
got that, ever
Miami,
since they,
Miami's just a little too much. I like their
yeah.
hat, when they came out with the City Connect hat, but it's a little too much. I can't figure out what the Padres are doing. That's a little too flamboyant for me. It looks like flamingos at the San Diego Zoo.
San Diego looks like Miami Vice back in the 80s.
Yeah.
I can hear like the introduction of the song of Miami Vice.
Atlanta would have been good if they just did the A and instead of putting the A and then maybe having the feathers up a little more like in the 70s.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Do you know the teams?
I don't care for the Diamondbacks.
Here are the teams that don't have yet to do it in baseball.
Well, I
was going to give you a chance, but I figured what the heck.
Wow.
There's a lot of teams. Yeah, these are the last remaining. Who does not do it?
God, I would say probably the Yankees and the Cardinals.
That's a good one. Those are very they take a lot of pride in their uniform. You're right. Okay. I would say Toronto does something. Minnesota does something. Oakland will do something eventually. The Guardians just changed their name, so I don't know. Maybe a while for them.
Yeah.
Detroit's got a lot of long history. I would think Detroit may last long. I'm surprised
Cleveland,
Tampa Bay.
You know what? Cleveland, if they didn't change the name,
they would have.
They would have. The Indians would have came out with. I could see them coming out with something called the Tribe.
Something,
yeah.
Something with
like
a native look, a native feel to it, I would think. Tampa Bay, I thought, but they have so many different variations of their old uniforms. I think they're not ready yet. The Mets, they have like 4 different unis, the Mets. So like the Cardinals and the Yankees and the Tigers, they don't change their uniform.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and they haven't. If you look at everything over the years.
Yeah, not only that, the A's, and we've interviewed quite a few of their ex-players. Yesterday it was Daryl Knowles. Last week it was Raleigh Fingers. But when you look at the A's, 10 people show up in Oakland. Everybody else dresses up as an empty chair. Do you think they're going to buy a City Connect thing?
Maybe in Vegas, but you don't have to even worry about it because in Vegas they're all going to buy up the new jerseys and things like that. But there is a jersey I'm still going to try to get. I love.
Which one?
I got to get a Mikal Bridges jersey because it's Brooklyn with the Brooklyn Bridge, and his back of his name is Bridges. It's Brooklyn Bridges. So I got to get that uni. I was born there, so it just makes sense for me to buy something like that. And I like Mikal. I loved him as a son, and I'm happy he's representing my my birth town.
Well,
in
my
Brooklyn.
buddy, it was funny for my birthday a couple of years ago. He bought me a Orioles jersey, and I looked at it and I go, "What the hell is this?" And then I turned it around and it had Mancini on the back.
Oh, Trey Mancini uni. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, ever since I've met you and got to know you, that name pops up on a few people. Like, just like they're not as popular as you, but they make more money than you.
Yeah, well, we're gonna get it, baby. Hey, we're damn good, man. We're damn good, man. Everybody know, that's the thing.
There's one Mancini is Boom Boom. I love the Boom Boom.
I always tell people this, Cornelius. I think people give up on the goal.
Yeah,
it's never the goal; it's the journey, and it's how you handle the journey that gets you to the goal.
It'll just show up It'll happen, and if not,
Yep.
you're enjoying the ride along the
Well, I
way.
always
And
believe if you make progress, look, we get a delay. We're in here, man. We don't waste time. We come in here, we throw it down. I can't wait for next week, baby.
Hey, let me check the scoreboard real quick again. Suns up by 2. They're still fighting. Golden State up by 12. So you're right about that. Philly takes out the Brooklyn Nets. Close game. It really was a tie game with 8 seconds to go. So it was really close.
We got to come up with a T-shirt, Duel in the Desert, Hanna and Mancini.
I like that. I would go for that.
We got to do something like that, man.
I'm trying to get you a hockey update of scores around the NHL. The Rangers looks really good. I mean,
wow.
Getting Patrick Kane was just clutch because he's just a clutch playoff guy. But Toronto wins 7-2. Vegas, Winnipeg's beating the Vegas Knights 1-0 into 1. Seattle and Colorado are tied at 1. And Rangers did win tonight 5-1 itself. And then the weekend is just going to be jamming. Yeah, I think so.
Hey, so the weekend, what are you doing? You heading out to the park to see the Pods and D-backs?
Can find a way to win their series against Carolina, it would be an Islander Ranger playoff series. That's what hockey likes, and fans and sports, and is rival series, and that's a legendary old rival that hasn't really you haven't seen in a while.
Billy Smith, Dennis Potvin,
all that stuff. Yeah. So anyway, that's your hockey update too. Now, Mark, I'm going to throw you some videos at you. Okay. The other day after Game 1, Westbrook uses the shortcut to go onto the court or into the locker room. There's another doorway, but they don't usually use the long path out of the locker room down the hallway and out. But here's a local LA Clipper, reporter who explains. And really, this is messed up how Phoenix allowed this to even, like, where's security? And you should know better. Let fans interact or even be that close. Because did you see the video with Westbrook? No. Okay, he comes through this little like VIP section, like where people are drinking and stuff, and it's all hyped up. And Westbrook gets some trash talking from a Suns fan, and Westbrook went at him, like pointing fingers 2 feet apart. There's kids in the room, and it's like, how the heck is he in that room? And then you find out that there's like a door that these players figured out, and they can cut through. Let me show you the video, and it explains it. Here we go.
Area where we've all seen the Russell Westbrook and fan incident happen. So here's the area right here. Okay, so I'm going to get off camera, and we're going to walk through here so I can show you what I'm talking about. So basically, you come through here, and this is where this went down. But this is like a shortcut to get to the visiting locker room. So here's the little area, right? That's where this all went down right here. You see all this stuff right here. This is basically a lounge area, right? So you go through here, and then what you can do is you can walk this way, and then you can cut this way, and then you can walk out here, it's an exit route, and then you go here, and you turn, and voila, here is the visiting entrance to the visiting locker room. So it's a shortcut, right? It's a shortcut. You can go there, and then you don't have to walk. This welcome you're ready to make. You don't have to walk all the way around. And this has been happening all season. Some of the visiting players, they have come out that way so they can just.
This is where you're supposed to walk.
Yeah. That's how it is in the Staples.
To get to the court.
How the heck they let the players get that close? It's crazy.
Wow.
Some guys have been taking the short.
And the guy sitting on the recliner that had a few beers is taking shots at Westbrook.
Yeah, and Westbrook got in his face, and here we go.
So it's a bad look on a lot of levels.
This camera froze. This is not a long walk. I mean, I've walked it a few times, and here we go. This is how you get onto the court. And I don't know why they don't guide the players this way. Make sure the players, right? Now they got a sign on the door. All right, let me pop that off the screen. You get the idea. Okay, you get the idea. So, but then now they have a paper sign that says, no players or something, in VIP lounge only, like for whatever. And it's like, really, that was a bad look, but it could have been a disaster You know, punches were thrown and
it
things
could have
like.
been another version of the Malice in the Palace.
Right. It was that close. And I had the video, but a lot of people saw it, what happened. But there you go. Let me see here. We just football. How about football? This has got to be one of the craziest ideas for a football fan. This is a Buccaneer fan checking in on a Thursday night, Sunday night. I think they're playing the Ravens, from what I can tell in the video. But he's got like the puppet mannequin thing. You know, what do you call it? What the guy can
the marionette,
the ventriloquist kind of guy. But watch, I just got look at the old security guy. He's scared out of his mind. Like, what the freak am I doing? Like, he's like yelling for help for security, and the Buccaneer fan is having a blast playing in character. Watch this. There he is. This old man's like, what the heck? And watch the puppet thingy. He's trying to bite his hand and finger. Watch. He's like, help! Help! What the hell is out? This guy's in character, man. I love him. This old man is scared. You know what the hell's going on.
Unbelievable.
Watch his hand. Watch his hand. Here it comes. Here it comes. You're gonna bite it
off.
He
looks like Buddy Epson from Barnaby Jones. Lee Merriweather, where are you?
This is awesome.
God.
I want to meet this guy. I want to meet his whole act. Look at this thing.
I'm trying to figure that out. We should let the listeners know. Is this Barnaby Jones? One. If it's not Barnaby Jones, is it President Biden?
Oh my goodness. Awesome. Good for you, dude. I love that. That's a cool act. That's awesome. I'm happy. I love seeing that.
What a show, baby.
I love it. Hey, I know we got to roll out of here. I'm going to play this Torey Lovello. This is how managers cursing out an umpire. You can probably hear it. But let me see. I may have a little jump cut here or so, but watch this.
Wait.
Here comes Torey Lovello. Yep, here we go. And Gabe Morales. Well, I think if you're allowed to wear Scooby-Doo shoes, you should also be able to wear black shoes with white baseballs painted on your left foot. So when you lift your leg, here comes Torey Lovello. Yep, here we go. And Gabe Morales. And Torey's been ejected.
Stop fucking with us, he says.
Wow.
Not happy with
Watch.
the way the game's being run.
I like Lovello, man. He's a Montclair guy out here.
Gabe's going to let him have his say here, and that's it for the skipper.
All right. You're in first place, buddy. Good job, Torey.
Hey, next week, man, we're going to rip the doors off with the draft, baby. I'm going to see if I can get Keith Dorney in here. I'll hit you up on Wednesday.
Okay, man. We'll have a good time. The NFL draft. You join us next Thursday night. I know you're all going to be all over the place, but we'll be with you also, and we got to do it. I mean, what a great night. You know, playoffs will be going on still and so forth. But, Mark, all right, I appreciate you, man. It's like bottom of the half hour here, bottom of the hour, I should say, wherever you are. I'm going to stay on for about another 10 more minutes, and then we're going to end this and finish watching the Suns and hockey games and all this stuff tonight.
Yeah.
But we'll see you NFL draft night, Thursday night. Mark Van and Mancini.
Go, and we'll find out who's going to win this thing, the Clippers or the Suns.
Oh,
have a good one. Love you, brother. Say hi to Choo Choo Train.
Woo woo! All righty, all right, Mark. See you, man. All right, there's the madman himself, Mancini itself, and it just goes off like a buffet line, you know, like in Vegas where you can grab anything you want when Mancini comes on, and we just throw all the stuff at you. But I got more. I want to show you more videos, and I'm going to use them all up tonight because next week's the NFL draft, and I want to empty the bank tonight, or the video bank itself. Let's go with Derek Jeter giving you advice in dealing with failure. This is Derek Jeter, the legend Yankee shortstop.
What advice? Learn to deal with failure, because it's coming. I don't care how good you are, how good you think you are. strong support group you go to and lean on, but understand that failure's a part of it.
That's Derek Jeter talking that. Let's see here. I was going to show you the Aaron Judge great catch of Ohtani itself, but let's do it again. I was going to do it with Mancini, but here we go.
High fly ball, deep center, going back Judge, still back on the track at the wall. He leaps, and he makes the play. He took away a home run and made the play.
Well, Michael, you can't make this up. This is star power right here. Ohtani goes dead center field. Aaron Judge says, nope. I get all 6-7 to be up. Oh, and that's a ricochet, not in the pocket. Kind of a rebound.
Good stuff. When Ohtani and Judge are on the field and that happens, it's like the legends of the game, the great ones going head to head. And baseball doesn't get quite those moments because of the individuality of the game itself. But a home run taken away and all that, and then the next inning, Judge hits a home run. So it's when the stars show up like that, that's great. It's great theater, and that was good. You can't just make that stuff up. It just happens, and you got to be able to appreciate those moments itself. Andre Agassi married to Steffi Graf. Steffi Graf, we forgot about. How did we forget about Steffi Graf, one of the greatest, or the greatest tennis player of all time? Yes, Serena Williams gets all the love, but we forgot about Steffi Graf. She had she kind of disappeared from the tennis game. Family, kids, Andre and her are married and all that good stuff. And when pickleball competition showed up last week with John McEnroe and Andre Agassi and Michael Chang and Roderick itself, it was good entertainment. Steffi was there, and Steffi came out and actually hit a couple pickleball moments with her husband out there, and it brought back a lot of memories. And as you dig back into the history books with Steffi Graf, the legend, she has records that Serena Williams did not touch. And as I looked through it all, you can arguably and definitively say Steffi Graf, greatest of all time. It's fair to debate who is the greatest of all time. Serena got a lot of love because she was the only one who was dominant for all those years. Steffi had to go through a lot more greater players, but she was so dominant when it came to the Grand Slams, which Serena never really was able to complete the cycle. Steffi did it numerous times, winning all the Grand Slam major tennis tournaments, matches, whatever. But she did it so often that it just nobody's going to touch that record. And that's where you are going to be labeled as the greatest of all time when it comes to the biggest events, the biggest championships, and winning it. And that's what Steffi Graf was. Here's the pickleball moment with her husband and so forth. Great moment. It was nice to see. So now Steffi comes on. She was interviewed. There she is. And she wins a point. I don't know if her husband gave it to her, but there she is. And awesome. It was nice to see her. She was one of my favorites too. And she was one of those that you wanted to watch when she played tennis. It was like, you went to your TV set, right? And it was nice to kind of bring her back and give her some of the love that she earned as being one of the greatest or the greatest of all time. And when it comes to women's tennis is Steffi Graf itself. Let's see. When you're talking about some big power stars in Miami at the UFC fight over a week ago, this is your front row and the energy and the popularity. Yes. When America has a president that just make a lot of people are not happy with, right? And you see this, it makes you scratch your head like, how did this happen and why isn't he still the president? So yeah, there's Kid Rock, Mike Tyson, right? Dana White's there. And then Donald Trump, front row, Miami. Okay. The energy was fantastic, but he's a big UFC fight. And then and then, he stands up, standing ovation itself. But when you get that kind of firepower and that popularity itself, there's a reason for it. You've done something well. Okay. And the former president has always been a big sports fan. Always. And he was always been a big fight fan. And everybody there, other than Kid Rock, he took care of Mike Tyson when Mike was fighting in Vegas and in Atlantic City. And he provided a lot of room and space and time for Dana White to kickstart his UFC stuff. People love it and people appreciate that. And that's why he gets a lot of love itself. And that's why a lot of star power around him rally around this guy. But the people know it. When you're paying $5 a gallon in the West and the other parts of the country are paying a lot more money, at this point, when sports and politics mix and you have a Donald Trump in there and you want to just admit it or not, you got to think about this. Or we're better off now than we were a couple of years ago. Think about it. Okay. All right, folks, we're out of here on Hanna Time itself, Global Sports Broadcasting Network. Hey, it was fun to watch. We got the big NFL show next week with the NFL draft. The NFL draft is coming up right here, Global Sports Broadcasting Network. We're going to have a few guests for that night. It'll be the fourth year in a row for Hanna Time to have the NFL draft. And Mark Mancini, the madman, will be joining us with some guests. Some of these guests to talk about the draft and breaking it down itself. It won't be Steve Keim, the former Cardinal general manager who got a job breaking down the NFL draft next week. I don't know how he got it. I think we got a few people out there that can do a better job, like Choo Choo. All right, let's get out of here. Let's watch the rest of the games tonight. We've got a couple of close games. It's Hanna Time. Cornelius, Brad, Hanna, right here on Global Sports Broadcasting Network. See you soon. Good night, everybody.